happening right now because it's an old culture. It's an old culture, and it's separate from the rest of the world. It's very remote, very difficult to access. You have warlords and herders who are living in these nomadic tribes to this day. Not much different than when Alexander the Great conquered it.
So I should say that Genghis Khan, from everything I understand, was not progressive, but he was very pragmatic. This is why he
Allowed all religions.
All religions,
Yes.
which is Thomas Jefferson, I should say, deeply admired Genghis Khan for this, the freedom of religion. And he
Yeah.
didn't just say freedom of religion, it's freedom of an individual to practice any religion they want, which is it's like individualism. It's a really revolutionary, badass idea for that time, for that place.
Well, he recognized strength and the value of accepting strength and taking, and there's strength in unity, there's strength in community. If people can worship whatever they want, but all be united under one banner, it's better than dividing everybody.
Well, and the feminist thing that I mentioned, he would put women in power. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Is he a feminist? No, he understood that women are able to men conquer better in his perspective, and women rule better because they keep a stable society.
Mm-hmm.
So he would marry a woman to the king of the place, and then send the king off to fight, the ruler to fight, knowing for sure he's going to die. But the woman is now ruling. And then there's a lot of like progressive things about, like, they were allowed to show their face, especially in the Persian lands where they conquered. Like, they're allowed to wear these fancy headdresses, and which is, you know,
They could floss a little.
Yeah,
Chicks
exactly.
got excited about that.
Yeah, exactly.
New rules.
And the other thing, you know, this is the tricky thing is the Mongolian tribes where Genghis Khan came up, by the way, came up from nothing. Father slaughtered. I mean, this is from nothing. That was a common practice to steal wives, to steal women.
Yeah.
And
he had one of his wives stolen, and she came back pregnant.
That was like the origin story. The origin story of Genghis Khan, right, is like the love of his life, who was married to him for his whole life, that he proposed, or he said, we're gonna marry at 9 years old. She was kidnapped, and he had to raise an army in order to rescue her back. That was the sort of the split in the road. He would have been a normal Mongol, but here he has to raise an army to rescue her back.
Wow.
And then he realized he's really fucking good at this whole rescuing thing. But it started with,
That's
it's
so
a real love
crazy.
story.
You know, what?
Most
Go
I
ahead.
could find is that the horses were unshoed,
Unshoot.
but they did do something that this says here. They used some sort of skin to cover it. But
Interesting.
horseshoe-
Allowed to dry in place in order to acquire the shape of a hoof. Perfect the technique to cover the hoof, which offered greater abilities to their armies to move faster and more efficiently than their opponents. Interesting.
Horseshoes were around for at least 200 or 300 years before
Interesting.
them, so they probably knew about them.
Skins. That's interesting. What you're saying about him developing the ability and like really, hey, I'm really good at this. Do you know that's exactly what happened with the Somali pirates? Do you know the Somali pirates' origin story?
No.
The Somali pirates called themselves the People's Coast Guard of Somalia. They were defending their waters against Europeans dumping toxic waste in the ocean. They were fishermen. So they had found that these ships were dumping water and killing all their fish, and said, these motherfuckers, we're going to hold them responsible. So they boarded these ships, kidnapped them, and said, hey, you have to pay us. We've lost all this money from all our fish. We don't have any fish. Give us money or we'll kill these motherfuckers. And they gave them money, and they said, hey, let's start kidnapping people. Like this is way better. And then, there's a narcotic aspect to it because of cat, because the widespread use of this narcotic cat, which is like an amphetamine that is it a leaf? KHAT? That's like, the guy on the boat. Look at me. I'm the captain now. That guy's cracked out. I mean, they're all real skinny.
And what's really important in that dynamic is who is the leader that emerges. That's the interesting thing about Genghis Khan. He became super powerful. That person could have been incompetent. Genghis Khan could have been a bunch of different people.
Right.
He instilled one of the really revolutionary things is meritocracy.
Right.
By the way, he appointed his kids. several people, including Marcus Aurelius, wrote fancy, meditations. He failed as an emperor by appointing his kids. Before him, the 5 emperors all appointed generals based on merit, right? So Genghis Khan always appointed based on merit. Who's the best person here to lead the groups, which is a revolutionary idea for the time, because it was usually based on kin, like your relationship, your brothers, your sisters, your father, so on. That was really important. And the other thing I mentioned is about the tribes. The origin story is everybody would kidnap and actual rape the women. They would steal women in the Mongol Empire. As soon as he won over the entire original Mongolia, he banned. That was a strict rule. There's no kidnapping of wives. That was a